Hello and a warm summery welcome back to the channel of Motorbike Nonsense. Now, some scientists believe that colours can evoke emotions and memories just as strongly as your sense of smell. For example, maybe that awful off shade of green you painted your first ever Airfix Spitfire, or that particular blue your testicles turned towards the end of your first marriage. But for me, at the moment, the colour that evokes the strongest sense of happiness is this. It looks red on camera, but it's actually orange, and it reminds me of all the fun I've had this summer riding the Yamaha XSR900 GP. Let's just ignore as well the fact that it makes me want to go back to the early 90s and smoke cigarettes for some reason. Don't do that, that's a bad idea. But this bike has given me so much joy over the past couple of weeks, and this is my review of it. Let's go. Now I'm going to start this video with a rare caveat, and that is the fact that this bike is designed to evoke nostalgia in gentlemen of a certain age, and I'm not one of those. I'm not nostalgic for 80s and 90s Yamahas. Wayne Rainey means about as much to me as Wayne Gretzky ice hockey on the Amiga, which does actually mean something to me. That game was brilliant. But yeah, this isn't a nostalgic review of this bike. This is me as a youngish bloke working out whether this is a good road bike. But anyway, it's £12,500. You can get it in this Legend Red, or you can get it in black and grey. I don't know why you would do that. I saw one today and I'm like, did you accidentally tick the wrong box? Because this is a stunning, stunning paint scheme. Now, as you probably know, because you probably watched tons of reviews on this bike already, underneath is the new MT-09, which is already in the running to be one of my favourite bikes of this year. So as we look around this bike, I'll point out all the MT-09 bits, the bits I like and the bits I don't. Right, let's kick things off with one of the really good things this bike shares with the MT-09. That's the engine. It's the 890cc triple. It's got a cross-plane crank. It's got 119 horsepower at 10,000 RPM, 93 Newton meters of torque, I think 7,000 RPM. It is a really punchy engine and it sounds great. It's really trackable, it's really smooth, yet it's reasonably economical as well, which we'll get onto in a bit. Not that bit is really important. Now it weighs 10 kilos more than an MT-09 because it's got a lot of plastic on it. It's 200 kilos ready to go. It's a reasonably accessible seat height. I don't actually know what it is, but look, I'm 6'3". I don't make it look too silly. Most bikes I just look like a giraffe trying to mount a mouse. This fits me just fine. Now this bike, you would have noticed, doesn't look like all of the ones in the brochures and on the configurator, because it's got part of the Legends pack, which is this lower fairing panel, and the bike doesn't really look complete without it. It's a classic marketing move done by Yamaha to make you pay extra to finish the bike off. You do need that. The Legend pack though, that's £2,750, £2,000 of which is an accurate exhaust, and then there's also a tinted screen that you get with it, that belly pan, and something that I've forgotten, but anyway, we'll get onto that in a minute. I'm running out of light. You've got a fully adjustable KYB suspension from the MT-09, but it's been rejigged for this bike. You've got kind of clip-ons. They're not quite clip-ons, and they're not quite heli bars. They're not as low as you think. We're not talking Yamaha R7 or R1. You're not so leant over that seagulls will be pecking chips out of your butt crack. It's actually quite a comfortable position, especially when you've got some wind supporting you. You've got a 5-inch dash. You've got lean sensitive everything, like on the MT-09. You've also got the slightly annoying, but I'm used to it now, indicator switch as well from the new MT-09. So it's thoroughly modern. Just doesn't look it, but this paint, this white, is really metallic and it's sparkly. But yeah, that's basically it. It's on Bridgestone S23s, like the MT-09. That's Bridgestone's latest fast road tyre. So this means business. Got bar end mirrors as well. We'll talk about those, but I just want to go and ride it. So I'm going to grab the camera, hop on, and then go and have some fun. One thing I forgot to point out, sorry for the GoPro audio, is it's got quite nicely hidden pillion bags. So you can take this off and take a pillion with you. This sounds like an MT-09. So you've got that classic triple, well, not whine. It doesn't whine like a Triumph. It just sounds smooth and interesting and creamy, like your thighs. Now, this is what I was blathering on about when I was talking about colour at the start of this video. Because when I'm here, slightly hunched over in the cockpit, this glows. It just glows in the sunshine. And it's in the corner of your eye when you're going for it on a country road. Not like I am at the moment, because there's cow shit everywhere. But that just reminds me of riding my old Ducati 1198. That kind of glow in the sun as well. And this makes you think you're on something a bit cool, something a bit special, and something a bit different. which you are, because there are a few other bikes I've ridden in the past 5 years that have got quite as much attention as this thing. If you want to fill up at petrol stations quickly, forget about it. If you want to go to a sunny bike park on a Sunday, forget about it, because this draws attention like an open coffin in the middle of London with zombies coming out of it. It is phenomenally attention grabby. But as you might have guessed, I'm not really one to talk about aesthetics and all that kind of stuff. I just care about how it rides, and it's sublime to ride, frankly. The riding position is sporty without being too sporty, without being too wristy, without being too painful. It's obviously aimed at a market Yamaha knows will like the looks, but it might have back problems. Let's be polite here. They're getting on a bit, and this is actually a really nice middle ground, as is the suspension. It's reasonably plush while still giving a great sense of connection. So if you do just want a good looking bike that is not going to put your back out and you can bimble around on a sunny Sunday, get one of these for 12.5 grand and whatever it costs to add that bit of belly pan, because you'll enjoy it. But to bimble on this bike is to miss out on one of its best features. That is the chassis, the handling, and the motor. It's such an addictive engine. But anyway, I'm going to hop in some dual carriageway and get some of the twisty roads. Hopefully the sun will still be out, and I'll see you then. Right, let's quickly get up to motorway speeds on the XSR900 GP and talk about some of the more boring things that it does pretty well. First of all, it accelerates pretty well. There we go, that's the speed limit. Secondly, when you've got wind on your chest at 70 miles an hour, it's actually quite a comfortable riding position, especially because you can press this and this, and you've got cruise control included. Hooray, well done Yamaha. You can also get heated grips for it as well. Now, there's quite a lot of wind noise. I'm 6'3", this is just hitting me all over. This is air bukkake, but I'm okay with that. At 70 miles an hour, the mirrors are actually really well located, and you probably can't see this, they're very clear as well. So despite being bar ends, they're very, very good. They might not be the sexiest, but they work. Also, you have got a fuel gauge, and you've also got, heaven of heavens, you've got a fuel range readout as well. 130 miles there from 3/4 of a tank. I'll be getting 52 mpg. It is a decent touring bike if you can put up the knee position. Now, my knees are all reasonably bent on this, and after an hour or two I get slightly sore knees, but then I'm old, and also I don't think anyone's going touring on one of these, except Yamaha will sell you throw over panniers to the back of it. And also you can do a tank bag, because the tank's made of metal, and it's also a delightful shape for the old legs. Yamaha hasn't made a useless, uncomfortable, impractical bike here. They made one that's comfortable with a decent tank range. The suspension is also compliant enough not to give you piles after 20 minutes. Now, as we get to our first roundabout, the main flaw with this bike, really, as far as I'm concerned, dynamically rears its head, and that's the brakes. They are slightly old school Yamaha in that they don't have loads of feel and they don't have oodles of power. They do the job well enough, but I'd like them to be slightly sharper. But I guess 12.5 grand with all this plastic, costs had to be cut somewhere, to be honest. And I've been speaking to Yamaha about this bike, and apparently it's been in the works for quite a long time, but they nearly canned the project several times. They just thought, oh, maybe there's not an addressable market for it, maybe it's not worth putting all this R&D effort into it. And there has been so much effort put into this. Some of the little details in this bike are just gorgeous, like these little pins on the fairing stays there. I don't know if you can see, I don't know if they're split pins or cotter pins, whatever you call them. You're not going into your B-17 bomb bay to arm your high explosive bombs before you drop them on a city, but they are really nice, and this is all just really well done. This fairing stay for me is so evocative of the 90s, yet you've got this digital dashboard that shows you more information than you currently get on most BMW models. It's very good, it's very impressive, and as we'll find out in a minute, the handling's pretty blooming good as well, if you're not stuck behind a Renault Zoe and a Sainsbury's van. I should also use this time to tell you about the modes. you have custom ones. You've got, well, custom 2, custom 1, rain, street and sport. And just like on the MT-09, I think, I will double check and put text up if I'm wrong, you can turn off things individually, such as wheelie control, traction control, etc. So you can do wheelies without spinning up the rear wheel, which I like. There is quite a lot of black plastic around here, buried in the depths there, but I think that's okay. And you've got this pressed, I guess, aluminium member there to hold the lights and the fairings on. I haven't ridden this at night, but the LED light looks basically like the MT-09 unit spread horizontally, and that's okay. They're okay, they're not awful. So this is probably similar. Also, like the MT-09, you've got the new Gen 2 or whatever it is quick shifter, so you can downshift while accelerating and upshift off the throttle with a closed throttle. So if you want to go for an overtake with some throttle on, you can. This one has a flashing white light there because I presume someone's not removed the running in or changed the running in rev limit light. It's quite a nice bike to hang off of as well. You can really drop your elbows onto the tank when you're monkeying off the side of it. So I've seen people take these on track days and they say they're pretty bloody good. And as we're about to find out, they ain't half bad on a country road either. Ah, no road markings. Does this mean they've just put tarmac on the floor and chucked a load of gravel in it and rolled over it, hoping it will stick? It also, this isn't going to load, it has got the maps that you can do where you Bluetooth your phone to it and you get, not even turn by turn, sorry, proper maps on it, which was really good on the MT-09 that I tested. Stability control, there we go. So now we go, I can turn wheelie control off. So I'd say, naturally off the power, this is less wheelie prone than the MT-09. I think it's just got more weight on the front end, different geometry, but my goodness, it still handles really well. Flicks from side to side with that kind of measured slowness you get from a bike with clip-ons. You drop your elbows and punch the bars and it'll turn as quick as you need to, but it hasn't got the instant wide barred shove of an MT-09. But when it's leant over, it feels really confidence inspiring, and a lot of that is down to those Bridgestone S23s on it. They warm up nice and quickly, they feel really good on this bike, but it is still a fast bike, but it just makes you feel so good. And look, go down to second and got a bit of airbox noise. It just feels really good. I can't actually see the gravel in the road, there's usually a ton there, but whatever. Again, I wish the brakes were a bit sharper, but everyone's going to whinge about that. So good. I'm going to say something controversial here. This is a brilliant road bike, and it's got a brilliant 3-cylinder engine. I'm going to say this bike is making me think of, drum roll, what the Triumph Daytona 660 should have been. This is a proper big leant over triple with a proper amount of oomph. And that triple noise, the acceleration, yeah, it's not a screamer, and you will bash into the 10,500 RPM red line reasonably often. On the MT-09 it doesn't seem to bother me as much, but I think on this, because you're cutting through the air and going a bit faster than you think because of the fairing, you do hit that rev limiter. But yeah, what a package, what a package. It is, I was going to say it's classic Yamaha, it's obviously trying to be a classic Yamaha, but I just mean it's classic Yamaha in that it's a lot of fun and it's not a huge amount of money, all things considered, for what you're getting. You're getting a bike that I think looks absolutely stunning, even though the anachronistic references are completely lost on me as a vaguely young person. It's a cracking bike to ride, it is so much fun. It just puts me in a really good frame of mind. It's the colours, it's the riding position, it's the engine, it's the chassis. It is really, really sodding good, and it'd be easy to discount it, something you'll buy, put in your garage and take out to 100 miles a year on, but that'd be such a criminal waste, because you've got cruise control, you put heated grips on it, you could do big miles on it, it's not too uncomfortable. I mean, I don't think these are going to be going for silly money in the future, because there's not a limited run of them or anything like that. Nice 350Z with a spoiler on the back of it. But yeah, to sum up my thoughts, my conclusion, this bike gets 9 Tim Roadies out of 10. It's up there with the MT-09. The MT-09 feels naughtier and is obviously going to appeal to a completely different audience because it looks like something from Jabba the Hutt's toilet bowl. I quite like that, that's my fetish. But yeah, it's great. It's a great bike. They picked the best bits. If they put the R1 engine in it, it would have been way too expensive, way too thirsty, way too hot, and way too committed. Did I say expensive? It would have been expensive. This hints at the R9 that we all know is coming, and I imagine that will get an SP version with Brembos and some earnest suspension. That is going to be ruddy bloody good, but they will need to rave. They will need to rave. The Yamaha, you have to rave, I'm afraid, if you bring out the R9. No, they're going to have to raise the rev limit, because 10,500 RPM on that'll be a committed sports bike, will not be enough revs. So they'll have to fiddle with the engine, which I wonder if they'll do. But anyway, that's conjecture. I've been Tim. That's been my right foot. Thank you for watching down there. There's nowhere to stick a GoPro up here. This XSR900 GP, if you think you might want one, you probably want one. That's all I'm going to say. It is good, it rides well, it's a good road bike, and rumour has it, very good on track as well. But anyway, thank you for watching. I've been Tim. This has been the beautiful village of Ockley, where some very famous actor that I can't remember used to live. I'm rubbish with names. And I'll see you next time. Goodbye. Thank you for watching. Did I say that? Thanks. Ciao.